Let the story begin.
Southeast Asia. If you're drawn to things that defy logic and explanation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to follow these untold mysteries. Now, let the story begin. A taxi driver's tale. I'm retired now. I've got nothing to do but read, listen to the radio, and watch TV. It's a quiet life. Today, the rain in Hanoi is heavy and relentless. I went to a coffee shop nearby just to listen to some Trin Kong Sun music to lift my spirits. I was lost in the gentle, melancholic melodies when a young man came up to me. He introduced himself. "I'm Tu, your neighbor. My house is just a few blocks away. I drive a taxi for a living. I know you, but I don't think you know me. I often read the stories you post on Facebook while I'm waiting for customers. I love them, especially the ghost stories. I'm so lucky to have met you here today. May I tell you a story? One that happened to me a few months ago. I hope you'll share it with everyone." It was pouring outside, and here was a man who wanted to tell me a ghost story. I agreed instantly. I've always been drawn to tales of the supernatural. This meeting felt like destiny. Before, I only wrote about my own experiences. This time, I'm just recording the story of someone else, a taxi driver. I can vouch for the fact that every word I'm about to write is 100% true. The driver told me, "I've been driving a taxi for over 10 years. That night it was raining, a little after 8 p.m., when a man needed a ride from Hanoi to Viet Tri City immediately. At first, I was hesitant because of the rain and the late hour, so I was going to refuse. But the man begged me. He offered me 1.5 million dong, when the usual fare was only about 1 million. Seeing the good money, I calculated that the round trip would only take a little over 2 hours. I'd be back in Hanoi by midnight. So I took the job. We reached Viet Tri a little after 10 p.m. On the way back, I decided to take a shortcut to save time. It was a secluded road, difficult to drive on, but it cut off almost 7 kilometers. The road was gravel, narrow, and full of potholes, and slick from the rain. I had to drive very slowly. Then I was startled. In the distance, I saw a small child sitting almost in the middle of the road. I swerved to the shoulder to avoid them, but my heart went out to the little one. Whose child was this, crawling out into the middle of the road? I hit the brakes, got out, and quickly picked up the child, thinking to bring them to one of the nearby houses. But as soon as I lifted them, I heard a woman's desperate cries, the sound of people running and shouting. A woman rushed forward, tearing the child from my arms. The child shrieked and clung to her. 2 big, burly young men appeared from nowhere, twisted my hands behind my back, and started hitting and cursing at me, accusing me of kidnapping. I tried to explain, panicked, but no one listened. One person said to take me to the police. Another threatened to beat me to death. One of them was quick to take my wallet, grabbing all my cash, about 5 million dong. After they took the money, they slapped me hard, calling it a warning, and let me go. When they were gone, I knew for sure it was a setup to rob me. I thought about going to the police, but it was so late and still raining heavily. Reporting it would mean a lot of paperwork and wasted time. Besides, it wasn't that much money, so I just accepted my loss and didn't report it. Even though I was robbed, it was only a bit of money. I was hit but not hurt, and my car was fine. I considered myself lucky. Just a few days before, my wife had warned me. The fortune teller said this month is bad for your sign. You might have bad luck and lose things. Try not to drive at night. You might get haunted. I hadn't believed her then. But that night, it proved to be true. I thought it was just a small misfortune. I figured the whole thing was over, but I was wrong. Another time, I was hired to drive a family to Ninh Binh. They only booked a one-way trip, so I was driving back alone. We left Hanoi a little before 5 p.m. That day was a Friday, the weekend, so the highway was backed up. The car moved slowly, and we didn't arrive until after 8 p.m. I turned around and headed straight back to Hanoi. Just a few kilometers out of Ninh Binh, I was lucky to see a mother and daughter on the side of the road waving for a taxi. The woman said she needed to go to Hospital 108 to care for her sick husband. She was about 30, and her daughter was around 7. Since it was on my way, I only charged them 200,000 dong, and she paid me right away. That day was so hot. Even at night, it was stuffy. Strangely, from the moment they got in the car, I started to feel cold. I was wearing a short-sleeved shirt, so I felt it more clearly. I turned up the AC, then turned it off completely, but I still felt a chilling cold. I figured I was just getting a cold myself. The car was on the expressway, going about 100 km/h. Suddenly, I heard the voices of children laughing and talking, high-pitched, as if they were playing together. It wasn't just one child. There were many. The car was soundproof, and we were on the expressway. Where would the sound of children come from? The sounds were faint at times, then loud again, ringing in my ears. I started to feel uneasy. I slowed down and looked in the rearview mirror. I was startled. The woman was staring straight ahead, her eyes wide, fixed and cold. Her face was sharp, filled with an eerie, murderous look. A shiver ran down my spine. My hands and feet started shaking, and I was drenched in sweat. I quickly turned around to look at the back seat, but the mother and daughter were just sleeping normally. Nothing was out of the ordinary. I tried to tell myself it must be my imagination, but for the rest of the drive, I couldn't stop looking at the rearview mirror. It wasn't until we reached the gate of Hospital 108 that I turned to tell them, "Ma'am, we're here." But no one was there. The back seat was completely empty. I immediately checked the car lock. It was still locked. I hadn't stopped the car the entire time, so when did the mother and daughter disappear? I opened the trunk. Their rolling suitcase was gone too. I just sat there, frozen. Then I remembered the money she had given me. I pulled it out, and my blood ran cold. Mixed in with the real money was sheets of fake joss paper. At that moment, I knew with 100% certainty I had just been tormented by ghosts. The story ends here, but the mystery remains. If you enjoyed this tale, please like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more. Thank you for listening to The Midnight Teller, where the unknown never sleeps.